Tonight on One Night in Bangkok, I am sharing 3 real-life stories from going on Tinder dates with Ladyboys. I'm going to tell you exactly how to know if you are dealing with a lady or a ladyboy. And at the end of this episode, I'm going to share a recent story that has a little twist at the end. What is up, guys, and welcome back to the One Night in Bangkok podcast. If you guys are new here, my name is Eric. I'm all the way from Boston, USA, and I've been here in Thailand for 5 years now. If you are new to Thailand, if you're traveling here, if you want to move here, hit the subscribe button. We've got so many cool shows coming up, and I don't want you to miss anything. Also, if you want to listen to the audio only version, like while you're working or if you're driving in the car, you can subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I'll put the link down below. And we're also on Instagram. Our Instagram has just been popping off the last few months. So if you want to check that out, we post short clips from the show down on Instagram. And if you love YouTube, but you don't have time for the whole 1 hour long episodes, we have a new YouTube clips channel, One Night in Bangkok Clips. I'm going to link that down below. We post clips there almost every day, and they're just 5 or 10 minute videos from all the different topics that we talk about. So you can check that out as well. Lastly, if you're having a good time with us, buy us a drink, buy us a coffee down at the link below. We love putting these shows together for you, and we appreciate your support. Tonight, I have a very special episode. We are talking all about real life Ladyboy stories from Thailand. And not just any Ladyboy stories from my own experience. So I'm going to be really open and honest with some of the things I've seen and experienced here. And hopefully, I don't know, we'll see what you guys think. I put down in the show notes yesterday, I sent it to Ern that we were going to be talking about this.
Yeah.
And she was wondering what
you're going to talk about in this topic.
Yeah. So before we even get into this subject, because somehow this Ladyboy topic comes up on every show, but I've never really shared my own experiences. I want to say that I don't have a problem with Ladyboys as a whole. I think they get a bad rap, to be honest with you, a lot of the time, because a lot of the stories that you hear about Ladyboys, they're a very small percent, I think, of the total Ladyboy population, and they have a very negative reputation. But there's Ladyboys everywhere in Thailand. You know, they can work at the office, at the restaurant, but you never hear about those Ladyboys. You only hear about the Ladyboys that trick some foreigner on their third day in Thailand.
On the street.
Yeah. So I just want to say that I don't have anything against Ladyboys. If you're into Ladyboys, that's totally fine. I don't care. It's not my thing, but I don't judge. I don't care what you're into. The thing that I don't like, though, is what a lot of foreigners will experience this. I don't like when Ladyboys are deceptive, like they try to trick you or they try to pretend maybe there's something they're not. And I also don't like when they grab you. I don't know if you know about this.
Grab you like
yeah,
when?
Ladyboys are if you're out at night at the bar or the nightclub, they can be, not everybody, but they can be very aggressive in grabbing you in, certain places or, just things like that. And I really don't like that because as a man, if I grabbed a woman the same way Ladyboys grab me, I would be taken away by the police for sure.
But what if I'm a girl and I grab you?
Girls don't really do that though.
But what if?
Well, I still don't think it's okay, to be honest with you, but it doesn't really happen. But with Ladyboys, it happens a lot. And I don't like it. And no guy I know likes that. But other than that, I mean, as a whole, like you've met, there's someone I play pool with sometimes at a certain bar. So you met her. So I have no problem with Ladyboys as a whole, but just certain subsect of the Ladyboys I don't like. So, and also, wasn't there a big, like a fight between the Thai Ladyboys and were they Filipino Ladyboys or something a few months ago?
At FMD, right?
No, it was in Nana area. There was some argument between a gang of I don't want to get the story wrong, but I think a group of Filipino Ladyboys beat up one Thai Ladyboy or vice versa, and then the other person came back with like a whole, and there was basically a riot in the Nana area, and the police had to break it up. And the video footage from that was crazy. I don't know if I can find it, but it was like 2 rival gangs of Ladyboys, trying to beat each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, So today I've been in Thailand, I mentioned, for 5 years now. And I'm not on Tinder anymore. But when I was on Tinder, you'd come across Ladyboy sometimes. And the thing is, sometimes you knew you were dealing with a Ladyboy, but sometimes you had no idea. So I guess I should start my first year in Thailand. I was new here in Bangkok. I never even really used Tinder much before I came to Thailand. And like a lot of people do, hop on Tinder, fire it up, swipe, swipe, swipe. And I think the actual first date I went on, this is what happened. So I was living in Tonglaw at the time, and we agreed to meet up at the Tonglaw BTS. And I think I'm meeting up with a girl, right? There's nothing, because on Tinder or Bumble or any of those dating apps, a lot of times if they're a ladyboy, they'll put, they'll say I'm a ladyboy or I'm not a real lady or something like that. But this person did not put anything. And their pictures seemed fine. I mean, I noticed they weren't really looking directly at the camera and something like that. But there was no like huge red flag.
All right.
So on this first date, so I went to the Tonglaw BTS, and I remember walking up the stairs. And as my head crested the top of the stairs, like as I came up over the stairs, I saw this person about 50 meters away. And immediately, from 50 meters, I knew this was not a lady. For sure.
Oh.
It looked, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just being honest. Like, it looked like a guy with a wig on. Like long hair, but it looked like a guy with a wig. Didn't look remotely like a lot of the, attractive looking.
Before you gonna meet her, like you didn't have a look at the picture or have a conversation.
I had a conversation, looked at the pictures, and I remember thinking like, oh, these pictures are a little weird. Like she wasn't looking directly at the camera. Her hair was like over her face, this kind of thing. But
she got her boobs?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Okay.
But there was nothing that was like obviously late. Now, if you ask me now, 5 years in, is this a ladyboy? I would know immediately from the pictures. But it was like, I was very new in Thailand, I don't know what's going on.
Let's learn.
But I come up over the stairs and I immediately can tell this is a ladyboy. So then I have this inner dilemma. Like, what should I do? Should I just leave? Should I say something? Should I just pretend, it's fine? And to be honest, the person, I don't even remember her name. She seemed very like nervous. And I kind of got the feeling maybe she's newer at the ladyboy thing. I don't know how that works, but I just felt like this was a kind of a new thing for her. And I felt really bad. So I just kind of like went up, I said hi, and I didn't want to leave. I felt so bad. So I was like, all right, let's go get food. So we didn't have a plan of where to go. And I don't want to sound like a cheap date, but once I realized this was a ladyboy, I didn't want to go to some like nice Italian restaurant or something, right? So we walked from the Tonglaw BTS down towards Phrom Phong. And there used to be a restaurant there on the corner. And I think it was called Thai Food Good and Cheap. And and so it's kind of like a half indoor, half outdoor restaurant, like just cheap Thai food. So we went in there and we sat down. And I remember thinking like, oh, all of these people in this restaurant probably think that I don't know that I'm with a ladyboy. They're probably like judging or something. Now that I've lived here for so long, I just ignore these people. I don't even care. But at the time I was like, oh, I felt kind of embarrassed, but I also didn't want to leave because I didn't want them to feel bad. So we just had like our whatever food.
Conversation.
I think I ordered pad Thai noodles. It was boring. Whatever it was boring. I just was like looking at my watch being like, okay, I'm going to give her 20 minutes.
Give me like what did you talk
To be honest, I don't even remember. Like I just was, now I know what it's like when a girl shows up for a date. Has this ever happened to you? Like maybe you met someone in a dating app and the guy shows up and he's just totally not what his picture is like. That never happened to you?
No.
I hear some girls talk about this.
Talk a lot and like, okay, pretty sure. And then just go on a date.
But they've never...
Is that like a quick conversation like on Tinder and then you just like, you guys just show up and then like, oh, no, it's not.
But you've never met anybody, but they didn't really match their picture?
No.
Okay.
I mean, for the man, they usually don't have like filter like
Yeah, you're
girls
right.
or ladyboy, right?
Yeah,
so I guess for men, it just look exactly like in the picture. Just sometimes maybe look a little bit fat or like weird and the picture
now, by the way,
older.
I knew about this ladyboy thing before I came to Thailand. And even sometimes when I was on Tinder, I made a mistake. So sometimes I wasn't sure if it was a ladyboy. So I would ask the girl, I was talking to a girl on Tinder and I would just ask her, hey, like, can I ask you, are you a ladyboy? And I quickly learned, do not do this.
It's not nice.
It's lose because if she is a ladyboy, well, okay, it's going to be over. If she's not a ladyboy, if she's just a Thai girl, she's going to be annoyed and then cut you off anyway. So don't ask her if she's a ladyboy. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you much better tips for how you can know for sure. So anyway, so I'm here with ladyboy number 1, I'll call her because I don't know her name. We have
number 1 at Thai food.
Yeah, Thai cheap food, whatever. So we eat, we finish, I pay whatever it was like,
and then
120 baht or something for like 2 people.
God.
What it was like Thai noodles and whatever she ordered, right? So then we walk outside and I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. Like I'm really tired. I have to go home. And she's like, oh, really? Like you don't want to like do something? You don't want to go somewhere? And I'm like, no, I have to get to bed. It was like 10 p.m. I was like, I have to get to bed early. Like, and that was it. So made it away from that one pretty easily, but still the big thing I learned from that was, how did I not know this was a ladyboy going into this? And then even when I met her, what do I do? Do I just continue and pretend everything is okay? Or do you just say, sorry, like I'm not into it and walk away? I had Paul Lee here and I asked him this because he had some similar experience. And he says, hey, if I show up and it's a ladyboy, I just show her like, hey, this isn't who you said you were. And then he just walks away, basically. So I want to know from you guys, if you show up in this situation and you find out it's a ladyboy, what do you do? Do you stay and be nice? Do you say something? Do you leave? What do you do?
I think you should say something and then leave, but not be like, oh, this is not you, but just like, oh, I didn't expect that you're like this. I'm not into ladyboy. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. But no need to have dinner
Yeah.
or some food because you feel uncomfortable anyway.
So as a Thai woman,
all right,
when you talk about a ladyboy, do you consider them to be a woman? Like if I said, is there a difference?
Like in what way?
Well, I mean, even in this conversation, I've been making a distinction between ladyboys and Thai women. And I almost want to say real Thai women, but I'm afraid that someone's going to get mad at me in the comments like, whatever, you know. So do you consider ladyboy to be a Thai woman or no?
Yeah, Thai woman.
Same.
Really? Yeah, party or use the bathroom. You can use the same. I don't care about that.
I feel like I've talked to ladyboys before about this topic, not these ones that I'm telling you about in this video, but I've had like conversations about this. And from the ones that I talk to, they kind of say like, not really a woman, but not a man. Like they consider themselves something different.
It depends on how close you are with that ladyboys. If it's like my close friends, when like, you know, hang out together or stay together, like, you know, some party, I don't care. But for me, if I go travel with some ladyboys, which is I'm not close with, I'm a little bit shy when I like, you know, even swim.
Really? Why?
Swim in the pool. I don't know. Because they're ladyboys, they mostly confident people and very like energetic, and they would like, ooh, your body shape, wow, ooh, let me look at that, like something like
really?
that. Yeah, but it's in a funny way. But I was like, oh, I'm shy. Yeah, so it's not that in a bad way. It's just like a little bit shy if I'm not close with them.
And by the way, I would like to have some ladyboy on here, and I've actually reached out to a few. One very famous one that a lot of people suggested come on here, and her manager replied, but to be honest, they said something about money, and I'm like, what are you talking about? So maybe I'll message them back
I
and
have,
see. Yeah,
but let's
I
see.
don't know. So, all right. So that was Ladyboy story number 1. They get progressively worse, I think.
All right.
So that was my first year in Thailand. My second year in Thailand, I got a little bit smarter about how to distinguish the ladies from the ladyboys on the dating apps. Because like I said, sometimes they tell you, like right in the bio section, sometimes they tell you, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you'll start talking to them and then they tell you. And then sometimes they don't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I got pretty good at telling them apart. So I remember, I think this time I had just come back to Thailand, like after COVID, and I had to do the whole quarantine thing. And when I was in quarantine, I was talking to someone, exactly my type, blonde, like in good shape, looks like a model, like amazing looking. But I get a little suspicious because I felt like in the conversation, it's just a little bit different than talking with a woman. Like when you chat with, I don't want to out myself here, but when you chat with a lot of girls, you notice certain patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you chat with someone that's different, it's just different. Like I don't know how to explain it. Even if I can't see the photos or anything, I can just feel there's something different. And I kind of thought about that, but I said, oh, it's fine. Because her photos were so good. I'm like, there's no way. She didn't put anything in her bio. She didn't say anything.
Okay.
There's no way. I wish I had the photos to show you guys, but there was no way this could be a ladyboy. So I remember that night, it was raining very hard. It was downpouring so much, and that kind of plays into this story a little. And she wanted to meet at a Japanese place, like Japanese buffet or something, like all you can eat. So I show up at the restaurant and she's already there inside. So I walk in and oh my God, she looks so good.
All right.
She looked like unbelievably good. And actually, I want to mention before I met up with her, I actually asked for her Instagram. And I looked at her Instagram and I looked back through all the photos just to see. And I could see like, oh, she looks so good. So I go to this Japanese place, she's there. And I'm thinking like, this is awesome. And I walk up to the table and I say hi. And soon as she says hi, like she didn't even say the full word yet, you know, I was like, oh, like I could not believe this was a ladyboy. Like I knew immediately when she started talking.
But it's like you follow her on Instagram just like one day and then you meet her after that?
Maybe a few days or something. But I'm saying I looked through a lot of her photos.
It didn't have like any story when she's talking?
No. No.
All right.
No.
I got it.
But I just couldn't believe how good she looked. But then, and she wasn't big either. She wasn't tall. She was, pretty short. If she didn't talk, if she just sat there in silence, I would never know. So here I am in this situation again, and I'm thinking like, what should I do? But the problem is, like now there's nobody else in this restaurant because it's raining so hard. And
you need to stay there.
I can't really leave because when it rains in Bangkok sometimes
it's hard to get there.
It's almost like being in a snowstorm. Like you're stuck wherever you are. It's hard to get a car. It's hard to drive. It's hard to walk outside. So I was like, and she had already started ordering too. The food was already on the table. So I'm thinking like, okay. So I just sit and, I talk to her. And to be honest, she was very nice. I thought we got along well. I think she was a real estate agent and I was looking for a new condo at the time. So we talked about that. But I knew immediately, nothing's going to happen here. But I wonder from their point of view, like, what is their whole strategy? Do they think that as foreign guys, we just won't notice? Or maybe by the time we notice, it'll be too late? Or I'm always wondering what they're thinking about that.
Maybe I think they might thought that you already knew.
How would I know?
I don't know. Maybe some person already noticed, like, or even you knew that she is Ladyboy, but you still keep staying. So she might be like, he might be okay with that. So
Yeah, I just think
let it flow.
I think it's a weird strategy because, you know, some guys, definitely some friends I have, if they showed up and they thought they were talking with a girl and then later on they went to do something and they found out it was not a girl, that could be dangerous for the ladyboy, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That could be dangerous. So,
So do you think that ladyboy should, maybe when they start to have a conversation with you, they should tell you directly that, okay, I'm a ladyboy.
I think they
Are
should
you okay
say,
with that?
I think they should say, hey, just so you know, I'm a ladyboy.
Aww. So like ladyboy need to explain to everybody that talk to.
Explain, but the thing is, they're, in my opinion, they're deceiving you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking for this thing,
Mm.
whatever this thing is. Like, if you found me on Tinder and I had a Ferrari in the photo and I said that I was a billionaire from Dubai, but then when you meet me, you learn that I'm, you know, a poor guy from Florida. I don't know.
But at the same time, she didn't say that I am a girl.
I mean,
on the description.
She certainly made herself look like a girl.
Because you wanna be.
I am, but this is my problem, is the deception part of it. So yeah, so just to finish this one, so we sat there, we ate, she was fine, there's nothing wrong with her, and then the rain stopped a little, and then I paid and left.
And then I'm tired, and then I need to go home.
Basically the same story. Yeah, now I know what it's like to be a girl.
Again,
Yeah.
Okay. So now everybody knows Eric.
Yeah.
If Eric don't want to say, I'm tired, okay.
All right, so that was number 2, and to this day I can't believe how good looking she was.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't mean, maybe some guys are just okay with it. I think for a lot of guys, if they look as good as this ladyboy did, maybe they don't care. But for me, it's as soon as I hear her voice and I know, oh, it's like
you don't feel like you wanna hang out again later.
Nothing.
Because she's also nice. But
yeah, actually, she was a real estate agent, I remember, and I was looking for a condo at the time. So I did take her line and I talked a little bit about like maybe she can help me find a place. I didn't mind her, but it's just not what I'm looking for. So that was number 2.
Number 2. And
but number 3, I think, is the worst one. So this was in my 3rd year in Thailand. Okay. So you can see the pattern here. One per year. Yeah. 1 per year. Now, by this time, I have a foolproof strategy on how to avoid ladyboys. And I'm going to explain that to you guys point by point now. So number 1, I have like a 3-strike system. Okay. If they put their height, or if I can see from their photos that they are taller than me, that's one red flag. Okay. Now I'm 174 centimeters. I'm about 5'7", 5'8". If they're taller than me, it doesn't mean they're a ladyboy, but I'm paying attention. Okay. Number 2, if I ask for their Instagram and they don't give it, or if they don't have their Instagram listed, that's kind of a red flag. Sometimes you'll ask them and they'll say, oh, I don't use Instagram. There's no Thai girl in this planet that doesn't use Instagram. So and the reason Instagram is important and the reason they might not want to give it to you is because if you go to their Instagram and don't look at their current photos, scroll back a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. If you can go back like 5 years in their photos and they still look the same, very high chance, oh yeah, it's just a girl. Because it's hard to look the same for such a long time. Not impossible, but it's hard.
And me in 5 years back and doesn't look like this now.
Yeah, but like if I met you in 5 years and I looked back at your photos, you would look like this. And I'd be able to see like, oh, okay, you're just a girl. Yeah. And then, so the height, the checking out the Instagram, and then if they have plastic surgery. Now that's a tough one. Hold on. Because many Thai girls have plastic surgery or fake boobs or something like that. But I found that if they have what I would call more extreme plastic surgery, like big fake boobs, like jaw, like if they have a lot of work, and they're over my height and I can't see their Instagram, I'm not going. Like, that's it. So what happened in this case, this third scenario was, oh, and by the way, and I have one more like fail safe thing I do. If I'm meeting up with someone from a dating app, I will no longer meet them at the restaurant, because in the previous example, I walked into the restaurant, she's already sitting there. Now I'm trapped. So I'll tell them to meet in some like public place, like outside the BTS station or like on a, in a main street. So if I show up and they're not what they're supposed to be, it's very easy to just turn around and go the other way.
Okay.
Okay, it's easy to abort that mission. I made the mistake and I didn't do that one on this third story. I did the first three. I checked out the Instagram. I looked at the height. I looked at all of that. I looked at the pictures very carefully.
But
I didn't meet them in like a public place. I just said to meet at the restaurant. Because we went to this Mexican place in Tongloa called, I think it's called El Barrio, I think. But it's down like a side street, a small side street alley. It's not on the main road. And so I said, oh, okay, we'll meet there. And then the other mistake I made was I got there first. So I got there and there's outdoor seating and I sat down at the table and I'm facing the entrance. And she texted me, oh, I'm almost here. I'm just getting out of a taxi now. Okay. I look up and this person walking into the restaurant, how can I describe this person? In her photos, she looked like you, Earn. I'm not exaggerating. Small girl, nice. Oh. This person that walked in was a monster. I don't know if you guys know, in the 90s, there was this famous wrestler named Randy Savage, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. You won't know. I'll put a clip in.
I don't know.
This ladyboy walked in and was so physically large.
I'm on my way, and nothing is gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me.
Like a big guy. I felt like it was the Macho Man in disguise. Like she was gonna be like, oh yeah, and then just pick me up and throw me through the table.
Oh yeah!
Oh my God, Wardlow!
Like I was like, holy fuck! Like what have I gotten myself into? And I was shocked because she did not look like the photos at all. So, and I don't mean like some face, like whatever, some face swap or something. I mean like physically,
not at all.
She was way taller than me, bigger than me. And she sits down at the table like this.
Oh.
And I'm like, what am I going to do?
You just leave?
Then I'm like, but now I'm like, I'm turning from shock to now I'm annoyed. Because now I've been through this before, twice. I'm going to be stuck here for like 30 minutes. And by the way, this is not a good and cheap Thai food place now. Now we're at a real restaurant. So if you guys notice, my Ladyboy dates are getting progressively better and more expensive. But so she sits down, and the worst part about her was her personality was complete trash. Like she started talking about how she's so broke and she just likes to sit home and blah, blah, blah. And she doesn't do anything all day. And she has this job, but she doesn't care. I'm thinking like, even if I was into Ladyboys, like, what is this person doing? Like nobody, imagine if you went on.
She speak good English?
I mean, it was okay.
That's
but
okay.
imagine if you went on a date with someone, like a guy, and he's like, oh, I'm so broke. Like, I have a shitty job. I don't care. Like, what would you do?
Let me go to the toilet real quick. Bye-bye. Or maybe like, oh, I forgot something.
I just find, and a lot of people focus on the way Ladyboys look, but really I think the way they act is much different than Thai women. And the longer you're here, the longer you can see it. I feel like no Thai women I've ever met would talk like this in like a very not polite way on a first date. So, and still this ladyboy doesn't know, I guess, that I know she's a ladyboy. I'm just sitting there like taking it. So we eat whatever. I pay. I'm like, at this point I'm so annoyed because I've done this twice before that I didn't care as much about like not making her feel bad because I'm thinking like, what the hell? Like you tricked me and now I have to deal with this. Like, why should I be nice to you?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I felt about it.
But during the time that you had dinner with her, what's happened?
I literally didn't say anything. I just sat and ate She would just talk about whatever, like being broke, doing this.
Did
like,
she be like, "Oh, why you don't talk to me?"
No.
No?
Like right away, I'm like, oh God. And so I just ate my tacos or whatever I ate. I think I had an enchilada that night.
Oh.
You worked at a Mexican restaurant, so you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So I finish and I'm like, okay, 30 minutes, whatever. I gotta go.
Oh, you ate so quick.
Yeah, I'm like, pay the bill. And I just stood, I didn't even walk out with her. And she's like, that's it? And I'm like, yeah. And I just walked away. And then she sent me some like angry message after, something like that. But it's just, I don't like the deception. It's one thing if she said something and she's like, oh, do you think we could still go out? I just want you to know. And then I can say yes or no. But when I feel like you tricked me, and then I went back to her match on Tinder. This bitch, she photoshopped her photos to look completely, I'm like, I'm not crazy. I looked at her photos. They were not like face filter. Her whole body was photoshopped to look like you. But really, she looked like the Macho Man Randy Savage in the WWF, like 1995. Like crazy difference. So after this, my tolerance for ladyboys like went way down because I just feel like they're time wasters in these situations. So yeah, you can see how upset I'm getting about it since then. So
it's way beyond than just the filter that I use.
Yeah. So luckily, I'm happy to report since then, I haven't had any situation like this.
Okay.
But
lucky you.
Not everybody is so lucky. And I've never had a really, what I would call a really bad situation where, maybe things get too far and then you figure it out. I haven't had that happen, but I've heard stories about that. So like I said to you guys, if you want to know if it's a ladyboy, forget the Adam's apple, forget like how big their hands are, because I'm telling you, I've been on dates with people and I've been like thinking, is this a ladyboy? And I'm looking at her hands, I'm looking at her throat, and like you get too inside your head. Like you don't do that. I'm telling you, if you think about their height, and then also if you look at their Instagram, the Instagram I think is the best way, because if they look the same for like 5 to 10 years, you're good.
They can archive the photos. They can keep the photo, remove it.
Yeah, but if there's no photo of them, like if they only have photos from the last year, the last 2 years, it's suspicious. So even some girls do that, I know.
Yeah.
But it's that combined with the other things, it's suspicious. And then if you just meet up at like a public place, so if you want to, you can get the hell out of there. Those are my pro tips from 5 years in Thailand. Now,
Who's the next one?
before we close out this episode,
all right,
I have a funny recent story that happened a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. So I was out one night and I was going to meet up with my friend at a nightclub, and I was kind of just killing some time waiting for him. And I was walking on the street, and I think I was in the Nana area, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Excuse me, do you speak English?" I was like, "Yes." And he's from Australia. I don't know why he didn't think I spoke English, but okay. He's from Australia, and he said he was in Thailand for like 2 or 3 days, and he's only here for like a few days because he's just stopping here on the way to somewhere else. And he seemed like a nice guy, and he was asking me about like, he's afraid he's going to get scammed if he goes to a bar or a go-go bar or something. And he's like really worried about that. And so I just told him some things, some basic bar, go-go bar advice that anybody would give you if they've been here for more than 5 minutes. And then I was like, oh, well, I'm going to meet my friend at this nightclub if you want to come. And he's like, oh, okay. So he came with me. And I don't want to say that I've become very, I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty friendly guy. Like if I meet someone, oh yeah, we can hang out. But more and more times when this situation happens, the person I meet does something weird in the end.
What?
But I thought, oh, like, I don't know. They do something weird or embarrassing. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be near this person. But this guy seemed totally normal, totally level-headed, very polite. So I'm like, okay, no problem. You can come with me. So we go to this nightclub and we're there a little early and we're standing at like a standing table and he's looking around like a kid in a candy store, like all girls around, not many guys. And I almost have to like hit him because it's so obvious. He's like looking at all the girls, like he can't believe it. In Australia, I guess they don't make girls like this. I don't know. And I can see him thinking like, oh, I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to talk to her. And so, okay. So then the night goes on and more people start coming in. And after a while, he's like, oh, I'm going to run to the bathroom. So I'm like, okay. So he goes to the bathroom and he's gone for a long time. And I'm thinking like, where is this guy? Did he leave? Like, and then I'm thinking, I'm going to give him like 5 more minutes. And then I saw some friends I knew, some girls. So I'm just kind of over there talking to them. And now I'm getting really worried because it's been probably like 20 or 30 minutes. He's been gone. And then finally I'd kind of given up, but I see over the crowd him walking back into the room. And I see he's holding a girl's hand behind him, coming towards me. And I'm thinking like, wow, like second day in Bangkok, he went to the bathroom, he met some girl, like there's so many pretty girls at this club, and he's bringing her closer and closer. And as they're getting closer, my excitement turns to fear because I can see behind him is not a beautiful Thai girl. It is a beautiful Thai ladyboy.
Oh.
And so he comes up to me with her and he's holding her hand and I can tell he's looking at me like, look how hot she is. Like, look how hot she is. And she did look really, really good. I will admit. Like this girl or ladyboy, whatever, in terms of like attractiveness was way out of this guy's league for sure, which should have been his first red flag, but whatever. He's oblivious. So he brings her over and he looks at me like, oh, look who I met. Like this is whoever. And I look at him and then I look at her and then I look back at him and then I look back at her and the ladyboy is giving me a look like, please don't tell him. Please don't tell him. Please don't tell him. Please don't tell him. And in that moment, I'm thinking like, should I tell him or should I say something? Before I say what happened, what do you think should I do here? Should I tell him or no?
No.
You think I shouldn't tell him?
Yeah.
Do you think he knows it's a ladyboy?
He should know. I don't know, like if he has gone for how long? 20, 30 minutes?
You would think so, but I didn't think so.
He should know if he spent time with her like at the, I don't know, restroom or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like he shouldn't have known.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they just met when he came out of the bathroom.
Yeah.
But maybe something else happened.
No. I don't know. No idea.
I didn't even think about that. But I thought there's no way he knows. Because there's some that you can tell, oh, easily it's a ladyboy. But there's some more advanced ones where only if you've been here for a while, you can tell. So that was in this category. So I'm thinking there's no way he knows, like, what should I do? And I can tell the ladyboy knows that I know. And I can tell she's telling me like, don't tell him, don't tell him, don't tell him. And I'm like, fuck, I feel responsible for this guy's well-being. So I'm like, come here, bro. And I pull him in and I'm like, bro, that's a ladyboy. And he pulls back, he leans back and he looks at me. And he just goes, we'll see. And then he takes her hand and he walks out of the club with her. And I was like, what just happened?
We'll see.
It wasn't that he said, we'll see. It's how he said it. Like, he said like, we'll see. Like, almost like he knows already. And he's okay with it. And I think that this ladyboy was just so good looking and so far out of this guy's league that he's like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't tell because like we just met him and like you don't even know that maybe he might into ladyboys.
Yeah, but
Or
it was
like-
just weird because he seemed so concerned about falling for a scam or something
A
like
scam,
that.
but not
And
ladyboy.
when we went into the club, he was like really into the girls, and so I didn't think he was into ladyboys, but his reaction was just so crazy. Like, whatever. And then he walks out. Like, he didn't even blink when I told him. So I'm just like, now now if I meet a foreigner here, you guys are on your own because so many of these weird things happen when I meet you guys. Like, I don't know. So anyway, those are my Ladyboy stories. No, I have never had a really bad situation with one, like it ended up back at someone's apartment or something. That's never happened. I've heard of stories like that, but it's never personally happened to me. I don't think it's happened to anyone that I personally know either. But hey, it's Bangkok, so you never know. If you guys have a Ladyboy story, drop it in the comments below. I want to know from you guys, if your friend is visiting you or he's in Thailand with you and he's with a Ladyboy and you're like, damn, should I tell him or no? I want to know what you guys are going to do because morally, I don't know what your responsibility is here.
Let him find out.
Other than that, thanks for hanging out with us. Subscribe to the channel for more videos. Check out the Clips channel. Buy us a coffee. Buy me a coffee if you enjoy me telling you all about my Ladyboy adventures. We will see you in the next video. And have a good... Be safe, everyone.
Have a good night.